Hello, book club. Megas here, back in the library. What a beautiful, beautiful book. I'm so excited I got to share this with you guys. Our second book for book club. We'll talk about the ending. Real quick, though, I want to let people know that there's playlists. If you go to my homepage, it's never too late. You can go to the playlist and go through all the books. And I'm going to do it with every book we go through. So far we have The Little Paris Bookshop, To Kill a Mockingbird. And then I'm thinking probably this Thursday, we're going to start our Perks of Being a Wallflower, because that's the day Kiva gets her book, and that should have given everyone enough time. But even if you're a day or two behind getting your book, again, there's a playlist. You can catch up quickly and easily. So, oh my gosh, this book, you know, matter of fact, I think it was Catherine was saying the same thing. We love the Little Paris Bookshop. What a fun trip down the French River, you know, and the sights, and it was just beautiful. But these characters, I mean, Scout and Jem and Atticus and Dill. I have to keep adjusting as I'm sorry. They're stretched out and I keep trying to fall off my face. But I love these characters, and they will stay with me forever. And I feel so blessed that I got to read this book. I loved it. I don't even know what more to say about it. I love the story. I love the characters. I think I mentioned in the last video, it's not like Circe that I would want to live there, you know, like Circe, I want to live on Circe's Island. I love the prose of A Picture of Dorian Gray. This didn't have those things, but what this had was just heart. So much heart, so much wisdom. And, you know, whenever I read a book that hits me, I'm always trying to figure out what was the magic in that. What is that thing? You know, what was it about that? And I did, when I finished reading this, I just sat there just thinking about it. And I'm still thinking about it. I want to know, what do you guys think? What is that magic? So where did we leave off? Do you guys remember? Was it 25? Yeah. So that leaves us 26. And then just to the end of the book, something I thought was cute. In chapter 26, Scout says, I expressed a stray desire just to have one good look at Boo Radley before I died. It is so cute. And she ends up getting a pretty good look, doesn't she? So now they go back to school, summer's over, and they're studying about Adolf Hitler. And I think this is really what this whole book's about. Racism, right? And so the teacher's talking about democracy. Who knows what democracy is? Scout raises her hands. You know, being raised by Atticus, she knows a thing or two. She says, democracy is equal rights for all, special privileges for none. Very good, Jean Louise. Very good, Miss Gates smiled. Over here, so this is the teacher talking about the difference from a dictatorship and democracy. And already, isn't that kind of a slap in the face? Equal rights for all, special privileges for none. Have we seen that in this book? No. It's a great idea, but they haven't lived it out yet. Over here, we don't believe in persecuting anybody. So they're talking about Hitler. The teachers tell them, but persecution only comes from people who are prejudiced. I was going to say, are people that blind? Yeah, people are that blind. Prejudiced people calling people prejudice, you know, it's just, and I think that's the beauty of Harper Lee's writing. Like, you know me, when I'm talking my Magi stuff, I'm not always subtle. I'm never subtle, you know. Harper Lee is subtle. She's just talking here, planting some seeds, see if something sprouts up, just maybe later, a couple days later, you'll just have a thought, an idea that you planted. You think it was your idea. You know, maybe there's something to that kind of teaching. Jem, at the end of the chapter here, he's just trying to get better still. He had a pretty traumatic experience. You know, when you lose your illusions, you think the world's a certain way and you find out it's not. You remember that age? Jem headed early. Atticus said that Jem was trying hard to forget something, but what he was really doing was storing it away for a while until enough time passed. Then he would be able to think about it and sort things out. When he was able to think about it, Jem would be himself again. You know, maybe, you know, but I think a lot of people, they just bury it down. They hide it away, but it's always there. They never bring it back up. Look at it, right? It's too traumatic. You don't want to be shining a light in those dark areas, right? Doing that shadow work that we're so familiar with now these days. They would just bury it, and then it'd come out in other ways. Anger issues, alcoholism, you know, depression. So I think it's better to talk about those things, get them out in the open. But that doesn't seem to be something real popular back in those days. So that kind of takes us to, I mean, the crazy ending. Holy moly, I didn't see that coming. So Mr. Yule lost his damn mind, you know, threatening Atticus, being threatening to Helen, and just, you know, and Atticus thought, well, it's just talk, right? So Jem and Scout, they're putting on, well, they're part of a play. I guess Scout's dressed like a ham. I couldn't picture her outfit, but it's like, I'm guessing chicken wire, like a frame, and it's painted like a ham. I have no idea. I couldn't quite wrap my mind around it. Hard to move in, hard to see. And so they get to the play. It's over. Didn't Jem fall asleep in her costume waiting for her part? Our Scout, I'm sorry, fell asleep in her costume. So funny. Teacher was not happy about that. Scout's a little disappointed about it. So now they're headed back home. It's dark. They hear something, like something's following them. They think it's one of their friends going to jump out and try to scare them. Ends up being Mr. Yule trying to actually kill them. As a matter of fact, he had a knife, tried to stab Scout, but her costume stopped the knife from penetrating her, knocks her down. She can't really see what's going on. Hit her head pretty good. He gets a hold of Jem. She hears screaming. His arm breaks. I guess she could hear it. That's horrible. Then all of a sudden, Mr. Yule is pulled back off of her because I guess he's now trying to choke her out. And he gets pulled back. And Scout can't really tell what's going on. Scout's our narrator here, so we're trying to see. I feel like I'm in the dark in a costume, trying to see like she's seen. And then next thing she knows, she sees a figure running Jem down the street towards their house. She follows. They get there. Come to find out, it was Boo Radley, right, that saved her and Jem and dispatched Mr. Yule. and then just the mindset that Atticus had. I was a little disappointed with it. Hold on one second. You all got your hot cocoa? I got to wet my whistle here. Love Atticus, but I think sometimes we can get so caught up in the law that we throw out common sense and reason. And so he is willing to put either whoever killed Mr. Yule, be it his son or Boo Radley, through the court systems. And that's just all he knew. That was just drilled into his mind. That's how it is. Thank goodness the sheriff, you know, finally put his foot down and said, I'm the sheriff. Here's what happened. Mr. Yule fell on his knife, right? Nobody killed him. That's it. They bickered back and forth. You know, Atticus is dealing with his own conscience and what's right and what's wrong. And so finally he just left it in the sheriff's hands. I think that was wise. And I don't even know. Again, I'm stunned by this. It was so much, so good. Oh my gosh. What a beautiful, beautiful, I mean, adventure, would that be the word for it? Just kind of like Atticus talked about living in someone else's skin. I lived in Alabama for this, 2-3 weeks. Lived in the skin of Atticus and Jem and Scout and Dill. I felt all that they felt. And that's the beautiful thing about books. It puts us in those situations, like with Atticus or the sheriff. How do you feel about that? Who do you side with? What would you do? You know, it's pretty amazing, pretty beautiful. Guys, did you happen to see my video earlier today? I loved it. It was my message to AI. I just woke up this morning with this idea. If I wanted to just share with AI things that were on my heart and that I'd wanted to know. And then as I was making it, I was thinking, this is good for people too, you know? And so if you didn't see it, please go see it. And of course, you know, you guys are my family here. Hit that like button and comment and share and do all those things that not everyone else does that you guys do for me. And then I guess Thursday, man, we're going to be in Perks of Being a Wallflower. I'm so excited. I can't wait to rip into this little yellow book with you guys. And we got some of our old friends coming back from our first book, the Little Paris Bookshop, that didn't make it for this last one. And you know what, guys, those of you watching me right now that haven't followed, it's fine. Just go back to the playlist. I get every day, I will get comments from people that are in Little Paris Bookshop on like chapter 3, right? They're just starting out the adventure and they're just excited as we were. I was like, oh, this is cool. I didn't even think of that. And so, you know, they're all, oh, Megas, this is so cool. And now I'm trying to think back, okay, chapter 3, and they're telling me what they like. And I remember and so they're taking me back to it, you know, again, and I love it. So, you know, when I read a book for book club, I read it once just for my pleasure. Well, I'll read whatever chapter or 2 we're doing together that day. I'll read it for myself for pleasure. And then I'll go back and read it again with my pen and highlighter. And now going back with it with you guys that are just coming on later, I mean, I'm going to know these books inside out, these stories, these characters. And so I'm glad we're picking really, really good books. All right, guys, I love you so much. Be blessed, and we'll see you tomorrow.